Welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading, everyone. Today is October the 31st, 2021. Today, I'm going to be looking at the S&P 500 and where we left off on Friday. We did have a bullish week. I'm going to be looking at some targets to the upside and to the downside. I'm also going to be taking a look at 7 names that could be on the rise this week. Names like Microsoft, that is all-time highs. Tesla had an outstanding week, also at all-time highs, along with Netflix, also pushing all-time highs. Moderna is reporting on Thursdays. I have some targets for you guys, along with Coin, Facebook, and HD also have promising price movements going into next week. With that being said, guys, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. We also have a promotion going on, the winter special going on for November and December. And we do have that link in the description. It is for $99 to join our Discord group. Wonderful group. You have access to swing trading, day trading, options callouts, market analysis daily, and also entries and exits on targets that I announce every single day. It's a wonderful group to join if you want to proceed with, educating yourself on stocks and the market itself. So if you are interested into that, click the link in the description. That should get you sorted out. And with that being said, I do have the S&P chart 500 open here. And as you guys can see here, we did have a strong week right here, opening up on Monday just underneath that 45.50 resistance. We busted through that, hitting all the way to 4,600 psychological. We did have a nice small pullback here on Wednesday before proceeding higher and closing Friday's session just below that 46.10 resistance. Overall, I am looking above that 46.10 break. And if that does break, 46.30 is my first take profit target, and 46.50 psychological is my second take profit target. Overall, the market is very bullish, and as you guys can see here from the trend, it is still proceeding higher. Now, what you want to see on a pullback is you want to see 45.80 as a key support level, and if that does break, look for 45.60 and 45.50 as the next area of support, as we did hold it here back on October the 27th, which was the end of day Wednesday. And, you can have to continue going with the trend right now. And as they say, the trend is your friend. So as long as all the other sectors such as QQQ, technology sector, semiconductor sector, and if we do have strong earnings on a bunch of names coming up, you can definitely see the S&P 500 busting through that $4,600 psychological resistance. All right. So that's my view on the S&P 500. And the first name that I wanted to dive into is Microsoft. And Microsoft had a strong week. As you guys know, I did speak about this name on my past stream. And we did open Friday's session here at that 310 resistance line. And as you can see here, big bull move straight up ahead. And we did hit 326, creating a bull flag. Here's the flagpole itself. And here's the flag finally busting out on Friday to session highs at that 332 resistance. Overall, I am bullish on Microsoft, and you guys can see here, if we can break past that 332 area, I do have overhead targets of 335 and 340 respectively. Now on a pullback, what you want to see is you want to see 326 hold, as we did consolidate here, which was previous resistance, now turns to support. So look for Microsoft to have a pullback to 326 and before pushing up higher. However, if 326 cannot hold, look for shorting opportunities down to 320, which is your first take profit target if you are buying puts. Now, the second take profit target here is that 316 area, which was the creation of that flag right here, the pole. So these two targets, 320 and 316, are your two take profit targets if we see a break of that 326 support line. Overall, like I said, I am bullish on Microsoft, and they did have a strong earnings. So also look for analyst upgrades. Analysts did have targets of 340 and 370 on Microsoft, so there's still a lot of room to grow. So keep this on mind going into tomorrow and throughout the week. All right, next name, which was insane, Tesla. TSLA is the ticker, and you guys can see here we are on the 30-minute time frame here, and we did open the week just right here around that 950 area on Monday. And what can I say? Strong volume throughout, pushed us all the way to that $1,000 psychological point. A lot of people thought that was the it, but we did break past that, hitting 1050 We did consolidate quite a bit here. We did have a push all the way to 1100 before seeing a sell-off. And, the great thing about this is that we did hold that $1,000 line. So I would have been a bear if we did break that $1,000 line. But to me, buyers showed that they were strong and they did step in and they never dipped below $1,000. So, the march continued. We had a nice push into the close on Thursday and Friday. And in fact, after hours, we did hit $1,130 on Tesla, right? So going into tomorrow, as you guys can see, it is pretty strong. So I'm not going to step in front of a moving train. My targets to the upside are 1150 and 1180 and 1186. This 1186 coincides before the stock split that happened a while back. So look at these targets to get hit moving forward going into next week. As I mentioned before, Tesla did have analyst upgrades, and the most bullish one was that $1,300 price target by Sandler, which is an analyst that is highly respected. So definitely look for Tesla to make a strong move going into tomorrow above that 1130 line. Overall, there's a lot of euphoric price action into Tesla. It sort of reminds me of when Tesla was at $2,000 and it pushed so high and that created that stock split. So there are some rumors of stock split amongst traders. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but just that rumor out there, along with the bullish analyst upgrades, can definitely push Tesla much higher. Now, to the downside, let's just say we have a rough week. Where do I see it going? That $1,100 line is a key area for me, just because we finally broke out here on Friday above that, right? And we also hit a high right here on October the 26th, which was a Tuesday, and we got rejected there. So over here, this is psychological resistance, right? Previous resistance now turns to support. So if we do see a pullback, look for 1100 as a key area. Now, if 1100 can't hold, guys, we could potentially drop down to that 1050 area, and that would be my first take profit on puts. And my second take profit on puts would be that $1,000 area where we did hold on that sell-off when we hit $1,100. So these two areas for me, 1150 and $1,000, are two targets that I'm going to be looking at if we do see a sell-off below $1,100. Overall, I am very bullish on Tesla, and I would not be shorting this as it is very strong. A lot of momentum here, and obviously, like I said, a lot of euphoric price action, and buyers are pretty strong right now. Okay. Next name that I want to look at is Netflix, NFLX, and this was one of those names that kind of, fell behind the radar just because Tesla had such a great week. And when I was going into this week, what I was looking at was that 670 area, right? We did consolidate here quite a bit, and we finally broke out on Thursday with some nice volume confirming it, pushing us all the way to that 680 area. And on Friday, we had a nice bull move all the way to 690, creating all-time highs. Overall, I am bullish on Netflix, and I am looking for a break above 690 for potential take profits at 700 and 710. So those are my two targets to the upside for next week. Now, to the downside, I do have 680 as key support. Key support here because we could not break it on this candlestick here, and we did consolidate underneath that 680 to 670 area. So if we do see a pullback, look for 680 to hold. And if 680 cannot hold, I would open up short positions for potential take profits at 670, which obviously, again, was a resistance point, now turns to support. So that would be my first take profit. Now, if 670 cannot hold, 660 is another key area for me, and it was support here multiple times throughout last week as well. So overall, I am bullish on Netflix, so I am looking for that break above 690, and 660 is that last key line in the sand for me if we do see a major pullback. All right. Overall, we do have Wells Fargo upgrading Netflix with an $800 price target, so that is bullish for me. We also have the director of Squid Games confirming that there will be a season 2, so that is pretty bullish. So these are small little catalysts that can potentially push Netflix past that $700 line and above. So watch Netflix going into next week. Definitely it's a name too you should be having on your watch list. All right, now diving into the next one, Moderna. MRNA is the ticker, and this to me is relevant on a few things. One, they do have earnings on Thursday, and we have been stuck here underneath that resistance line at that 355 to 358, right? A break above that can definitely push us all the way to that gap fill that I've been talking about in the previous streams. I am going to switch over here to the 4-hour time frame to give you guys a quick outlook. And you guys can see here, if we do break that 355 to 358 area, we could potentially test this gap right here at that $300 line, $380 line, I should say, to push on an earnings beat. Switching over to the daily time frame, you could definitely see that gap in the charts right here. You know, we did have a bunch of weakness from prior weeks, and it created that gap. And gaps don't always get filled, but on an earnings beat, definitely look for that 355 to 350 area to get retested. And if it does break that, like I said, we do have a gap fill from that 375 to 380 resistance line. So look for that on an earnings beat on Moderna. Now, let's just say we can't break past that 355 line, the one that we have been rejected here a few times on the daily time frame. Where do we go from there, right? We do have that 320 line, which has held a few times here back on October the 18th, over here on the 25th and the 26th. So that 320 line is an area of support for me. Now, if we do break that, definitely look for targets of 300 and 295 to get retested once again on an earnings fail, okay? Overall, I'm in a wait and see approach on Moderna. We have been trending sideways between 355 and 342. So one of those two is your indicator if we're going to move higher or lower. Overall, my bet, I would just say that we do get above that 355, 358 line and test that gap fill up to 380. Fundamentally speaking, Moderna has confirmed that the FDA has delayed the vaccine in adolescents. So that could also be a deterring factor for us to push down. So keep all those things in mind going into earnings, which is on Thursday. All right, guys. Another name that I'm going to be looking at is Coin. COIN is the ticker, and Coin is reporting earnings on Friday. And you guys know Coin is one of those names which we do trade at Wealthy Mentor Trading, part of our crypto names, right? And what I'm looking at on an earnings beat is a break above that 327 area. I am going to switch over here to the 4-hour time frame, and you guys know that Coin is one of the new IPOs that debuted this year, and ever since that $430 top, we have been trending below 327, and right now we are testing that 327 line once again on the strength of Bitcoin. So a few things. One, you want to see Bitcoin to move higher continuously, right? Because it does correlate to coin. So if we do see Bitcoin move up, definitely look for Coin and on an earnings beat to break above 327 for potential take profits of that 346 line. Obviously, we also have that 370 resistance line. So if we are really bullish, these are my two targets, 346 and 370 to the upside. Now on an earnings fail, and let's just say Bitcoin has a rough week, where do I see it going and what are my targets? 302 is an area of support for me. We did wick down here back on October the 27th momentarily, and we did hold that 302 line actually a few times here. So if we can hold 302, that would be great, and that could potentially move us higher. Now, if we can't hold 302, what are my targets? 290 is an area for me. We did wick down here before popping back up. So if you are shorting, look for a break below 302 for take profit targets of 290 and 284. 284 is an area of support, which was previous resistance right here. So previous resistance obviously turns to support. So 290, 284 are your two take profit targets if you are buying puts on the break of 302. Overall, as long as Bitcoin can stay above that 60K mark and start creating new highs, I have no idea. I see no reason why Coin wouldn't push back over that 327 line. So that is Coin, and they are reporting on Friday. Another name of significance for me, and that is Facebook. And as you guys can see, that did have a rebranding, calling themselves Meta. So it's not something that is like really bullish, but it's something to keep your eyes on because stuff like this can potentially move the stock up. And this chart does look pretty ugly to me. However, I did want to bring it to your attention because sometimes rebranding and new products, news, it brings, health, and it brings a new fresh breath of air into a stock like this. So I will be watching that 324 line. If 324 does break, we do have a gap fill. I am gonna switch over here to the daily time frame to show you guys that gap fill here. And you guys can see here, if we break 324 on the daily time frame, which we have been rejected a few times, right? So if we break 324, we do have a gap fill here from that 336 to 340 line, and even have resistance at 345. So I am looking for a break above 324 for potential test of that gap at that 340 line. So keep Facebook in mind. Like I said, they redid the rebranding, naming themselves Meta. A lot of people can feel bullish on that, and that could potentially move the stock higher. So keep Facebook in mind for a potential move higher to fill that gap. Obviously, we do have support here at that 310, 307 line. So, currently the trend is not the best and it is going lower, but with this news, it could potentially fill that gap. If it doesn't, look for 310 to 307 hold, as we did wick down here before buyers did step in. Okay. And the final name, the seventh name, had a great move last week and it has been trending higher, and that is HD, Home Depot. And as you guys can see here on the daily time frame, nothing but bull action here, right? Switching over to the 30-minute time frame to give you guys a cleaner look. And as you guys can see here, on Monday, we were at that $367 area where it was previous resistance. Breaking past that, we did hit all the way to 375, which was pretty bullish. We did have a slight pullback on Friday, people most likely taking profits. So going into next week, I do have that area of 375 as my entry area, right? And 380 as my first take profit, along with 384 as my second take profit. Now, these are psychological resistance lines, right? These are drawn up by myself. So it could potentially move close to that or near that, but those are targets of mine going into next week. We also correlate that to analysts that are bullish, setting price targets of 415. So as long as the market can hold up, the S&P 500 could hold up, look for HD to break past that 375 resistance line, where we were rejected a few times here on the 27th of October and over here on the 29th, right? But a bullish start to the week with the S&P 500 moving above 4,600, definitely look for 375 to break. Now, to the downside, I do have 370 as key support here because we did hold it here and buyers did step in. So we're most likely to test this 370 line once again on weakness. And if that does break, I do have targets of 367, which was the breakout point of this last week right here. So 370 breaks, short down to 367, which is your first take profit. And I also have 362 as my second take profit, which was an area where we did hold for support back on October the 22nd. So overall, I'm pretty bullish on HD. Keep this name in mind. It has been moving higher for a few weeks now. And, as long as the market can hold up, I can definitely see HD pushing higher because we do have those analyst upgrades of $415. All right, guys, those are 7 stocks that I wanted to talk about. And just to give you guys a recap, Microsoft, strong earnings. They do have analyst upgrades of 370. We are at all-time highs. Look for that break of 332. Tesla, what can I say? You guys know what I am about Tesla. I love Tesla. 1130 is that line for me. Above that, it's a blue sky breakout. Watch out for Tesla and look for the market also to correlate with that as well. Netflix at all-time highs. Look for that 690 area of resistance to break. Also, we have analyst upgrades by a well-known name, Wells Fargo, targeting $800 on Netflix. Moderna earnings on Thursday. We got to break that level of 355 to 358, potentially fill that gap fill. Coin earnings on Friday. If Bitcoin can push higher, I see no reason why Coin wouldn't push higher as well. Facebook with the new name, Meta. Let's just see if that's a positive catalyst to push us up past that 330 resistance. to potentially fill that gap ahead up. And HD, as I mentioned here, we do have that 375 resistance line. And as long as the market could hold up, this thing can go past that 380 to 384 line, as we do have bullish analyst upgrades. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you are interested in trading with us, hit the link in the description. That should take you to our Discord checkout page where we do have a promo for 99 bucks for 2 months. All right, guys, thank you so much and good luck trading. See ya.